This, he does not need fired until we have the truth and we have clarity. One of you 5 that has made up your mind to vote to throw this guy out, think about this. We have another option. Postpone the vote. 30 days after the forensic audit's done, review his job and let's have another vote after we have the facts. That's fair. Why the hurry? You weren't in a hurry to do the audit. You weren't. But now you're in a hurry to throw this guy out. He moved across country to serve this community. He uprooted his family. He came out here with dreams and hopes, and he has served us well as far as I can tell. He's uncovered an uncomfortable situation that maybe just needs clarity. Maybe just the audit and a little clarity. And we'll all go home and say, hey, you know what? That city council ain't so bad after all. My community, my neighbors were hopeful in that week between saying we'll do the audit and no, we're firing this guy. They're not hopeful now. They're coming out here and they're setting up tents and they're signing recall petitions against a man that's serving as the mayor that by a great number of people is a good, honest, decent man. We need more than a good, honest, decent man at this meeting. We need a hero. We need somebody to break the stalemate and say, stop it, put the brakes on. Let's give the community clarity and then make a decision. What is wrong with that? I ask you. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting the brakes on just for a couple minutes. It's not going to take that long to do that audit if you push. You can have it done in 30 days. That's all I got to say to you. Please, somebody step up. Somebody do the right thing. Because the community doesn't have to stay divided. If we get clarity, hell, we may get on your side and run him out of the town on a rail. But we may say, wait a minute, this guy's going to save us a ton of money and he's serving the community. Well, why don't we find out before we pull the trigger? It's in your hands.
Wayne Volford, and then the next one will be Jim May. Wayne, name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Wayne Volford. I live at 346 Miller Avenue. I moved to Brighton in 2009 to retire because of the friendliness, the openness, the farmland, and I now am a commissioner on the District Plan Commission, recently remarketed as, what's it called? Historic Splendid Valley, Adams County, City of Brighton. I participated in writing as a citizen volunteer. I did not have a vote at the agricultural subcommittee that really created the district plan and wants to preserve farmland as productive farmland, build agritourism to bring in good money to Brighton, and eat local food, good local food. All that said, I thank you for having me tonight. I want everything that everybody else has said tonight to come about. You know, when I ran for city council against a very good man, my theme was a word that I heard frequently tonight: transparency. Another word, accountability. Stand up, do the right thing. We're all good people in this entire room, including all of you. I disagree with some of you, but I respect you. Civil discourse is what is necessary. How many people said that in maybe different words? Yeah, my voice is trembling a little bit. Stand up, do the right thing. Philip Rodriguez, to me, has been a very good person. Everything that I hear from you, I think Jim just really solidified in my mind. Where's the money? Why? Why get rid of him right now? The timing is lousy from a perspective, a word someone else used tonight. That's my perspective. If there is anything that can be shared about why he's being fired, share it. More importantly, put it on hold. Pay him the nominal amount that it will cost to get rid of him and hire somebody else until a forensic audit is done and made public. Some very good ideas were presented tonight with other people becoming involved. As Jan said, maybe former members of the council, maybe a civic group, as another person said. They're all good ideas. But transparency, I think, is critically important here, and I don't feel it. That's why I ran for city council and lost to a very good person, knowing far more about Brighton than I do. But as a newbie, and I was raised in Colorado from 1946, 2 years old. So I'm basically a native of Colorado, and I love Brighton. I think, put a hold on it. Do not make a decision tonight. Bring forth and be transparent with facts. I think that was the most used word in all speakers tonight. Bring out the facts. Many of them are for the public, and they should be made public before letting a good man go. Now, I don't know all the details. Maybe he has done some things that are wrong. I understand that he has done some things that are disagreeable. But I'm involved in another recall, if you will. It's called a convention of states. So I walk around all the time with a constitution in my hands. And I think I'm going to read the First Amendment as it's written. Congress, well, you guys are our Congress, shall make no law respecting the establishment of a religion. Great. Prohibiting free speech or the exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. It's the people right to peaceably assemble and to petition the government to redress their grievances. I have a little more than 30 seconds left. I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person, and I would like everybody to bow their heads for 15 seconds and just reflect on what is the best you can make as a decision for us to live with and to respect. Can you please give me 15 seconds?
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, citizens.
Next is James May.
James May, 310 South 2nd Avenue. I'd like to take this time to make it a great opportunity to get our disclosure properly done on our revenue bond offerings. If we go back to the 2009 Series A and B Enterprise Fund or offering, you'll see in the official statement, you have current water source for your drinking water, your alluvial wells at 14,000 acre feet. We all know it's 5,400 acre feet. So the difference in 9,000 acre feet, an inflated value at today's market rate would be $180 million inflated on your 2009 official statement. And then if you go to the 2016 Water Enterprise official statement, you'll see under your groundwater rights supply, 9,400 acre feet, when in fact we know usable current water for our alluvial well water is 5,400. So in that document, the alluvial water rights were overstated by 4,000 acre feet, which is 1.3 billion gallons a year. So we've seen a pattern of this as far as the disclosure for the groundwater rights. We need to get this proper going forward, because when you fudge it by 9,000 in 2009 and 4,000 in 2016, you know, that could be considered municipal bond fraud if you really don't watch your disclosure here. So going forth, we know what our water portfolio is. The forensic analysis, I'm all for it. Have them dig into these water rights. You'll see exactly what I'm telling you is the truth. And add to that forensic audit a AWWA M36 water audit. We should have always had it. All the mid-sized and large-sized municipal cities, they all do an AWWA audit for water loss. We truly don't know what our water loss is. But this municipal bond disclosure could be a huge can of worms, and it's our opportunity right now to find out these numbers and write in your documents what I told you. I can show them to you right now. That disclosure's way off, way inflated. So let's get it right now.
Next is Hillary Hillam, and then after that is Reagan Hansen. Hillary Hillam. Name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Hillary Hillam. I live at 1543 Myrtle Street. Mr. Mayor, you have not given adequate reason to fire the city manager, and you're not listening to the people. I'd like to know if you've done any sample size to what your constituents want to have happen or not. I've heard tonight where your daughter gets up and talks about how nice a man you are. That is not what's on the agenda tonight. If you're a nice man or an evil man or the most wonderful grandpa ever, what's on the agenda tonight is are you doing what the people want to have you do, not what you want to do. We've already got other council members who they're doing what their decisions are. And what I'm saying here tonight to every single one of you guys is you guys work for us. You work for us. We voted you into office. If you have something that you're not sure what's going to have to happen or how it should happen, you guys need to go back to your constituents and you need to ask them what happens. Because guess what? We are a republic, and we have all the way down to our city level. And it is the people who are the ones who get to decide these things, not you guys. The people. And you're here to represent us. You're here to do what we want to have you do. And tonight is the first night that I've been here where things have been stacked, so you do have friends here tonight. And you've said several times in the last 2 meetings you had no friends here tonight. It's not about having friends. It's about doing what the people want to have you do. And I am asking you guys tonight to spend some time and find out what the people want to have happen. And put away all of your agendas. Mark Humble, Lynn Baca, J.W. Edwards, and Clint Blackhurst, especially Clint Blackhurst. You guys have to spend some time finding out what your constituents want. Call people back on the phone. You know, I'm studying environmental science, and when you are a scientist, you have to go out and find good evidence. And you have to take your bias and what you believe and put it to the side if you want to find the truth. And the truth is not happening here. And I will also pull in some of the other ones. Matt Johnston, Mary Ellen Pollock, Greg Mills. Go home and find out what your constituents want before you make a vote tonight. Before you continue forward. And that is what I'm asking for today. Thank you.
Reagan Hansen, and then Dick McLean would be next.
Reagan Hansen, 5015 Longspeak Street, 80601. I'm in 6th grade. I was part of the student council last year, and just because I had some personal issues with a person didn't mean I could get him kicked out of student council. The city manager has a personality, and you're firing him because of that. The city manager has answered so many of the people in this building's questions, and you want to fire him because you don't like him? My mom works ridiculous hours so we can pay our bills. Most of the people here work so they can pay their bills. He has told them where their money is going, and they should. So why should we fire him? Really think about that. Why should you fire him? Thank you.
Dick McLean, and then Adam Cushing would be next. Mr. McLean? Mr. McLean, if you're not aware, name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Richard McLean, AKA Dick McLean, 135 Chapel Hill Circle, Brighton, Colorado. And I kind of feel bad. I was on council for 12 years and I never had an audience like this. You guys are doing the right thing. And I don't envy you what your task is this evening. I'm proud of every one of you. I know all of you. And I appreciate the job that you're doing. It's sometimes not the easiest job, but you knew that when you were sworn into office, that there was going to be some good times and there was going to be some bad times. And I know that you'll make the right decisions, even though they may not be the popular decisions, but you'll make the right decisions. Also, got one of the previous speakers forgot to do this, so they asked me if I would, when the yearly evaluation of the city manager is conducted by council, a suggestion is that the council institute a 360-degree evaluation that includes staff, and it would have to be done only with staff's names withheld. So just a suggestion. I'll leave that here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick.
Have fun.
Adam Cushing, and then our next speaker would be Joan Kness. Adam Cushing.
Okay. Good evening. I just wanted to say.
Name and address for the record. Yeah,
I'm
5
sorry,
minutes.
Adam Cushing, 2696 Kiowa Creek Drive. I just want to say I don't know anybody on the council, but I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I know it's a thankless job. Not easy decisions have to be made, and I also appreciate the Brighton Police being here to provide security and handle that. Just being a resident of Brighton, 2017, I remember a lot of people pretty unhappy with the city manager. Seems like a lot of this stuff kind of went on during that time frame we're talking about here. And I seem to remember a whole lot of people demanding recalls of city council people because he wasn't fired. He was allowed to step down and retire, and I don't really know the story there, but it's kind of funny how now we still feel like the water situation is not being handled appropriately, and city council's taking action to fire the city manager, and now that's not appropriate either. We want recalls for that. So I guess my only hope is we get a new city manager in, and we move forward, and we stop looking back, back to the old times, back to the old city managers pointing fingers at who did what, and really just figure out what projects need to be done and get them done. Obviously, supporting the growth in Brighton and the amount of money it costs to make sure we all have running water, that's critical. It's going to cost a lot of money, and I'm glad to hear that we have money in that account, and hopefully we can put it to good use and keep our growth going and everything working well. So thank you.
Thank you. Next is Joan Kness, and our next speaker after that will be Michael Batwell. Joan, name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I really appreciate that you're taking so much time to listen to the various opinions of our citizens. I think that's really important. When people are hired, one always hopes the person selected is the best, highly qualified, focused, ethical, hardworking. I was a huge fan of our current city manager when he started, but the cracks in the facade started showing. Projects not being completed, lack of confidence from employees, poor hiring decisions with 4 or 5 finance directors in 2 years, weakening our partnerships with major employers in town. So it's time to move on. I support the termination of Philip Rodriguez. Our city deserves the best. This is not the first time he's been terminated by a city council from a city manager position. Just Google his name. 2013, he was terminated as city manager of Fate, Texas, on a 6-1 vote for similar job performance. But it's time to move on now. My best hope is that we all stay involved and that everybody here tonight keeps coming to meetings. I think that's really important. And that we all become fact finders and not get all of our information via Facebook, Twitter, and neighborhood sites. These sites tend to be saturated with misinformation, false allegations, and emotional rants. I would encourage the public to attend meetings, watch the city council meetings live on Comcast, or if you don't have Comcast, you can watch online via the city's website. I'm also really grateful that the city is now televising the study sessions, because that's where the council members hear from experts, see PowerPoints of current topics, and have in-depth conversations. You'll also see who attends these city study sessions and who misses. All of us get sick or have family obligations, so missing a meeting every once in a while is understandable. But missing many meetings over time is not okay. Study sessions are where the public can also learn the facts. Speaking of study sessions, I really echo what Chris Mislanik said. It was really disheartening that last Tuesday, 2 council members who've been pushing for audits left the formal meeting and did not come back for the study session when the 2018 audit was presented. One of the council members had a job obligation, so her absence was understandable. However, the other council member was out of the chambers, pandering to the press. He might say that he knew what was in the audit because it was in their packet. If this audit is so important, I think it was unfortunate that he was not in the room to ask questions of the auditor and listen to the questions from other council members. Listening to the opinions of others who might not agree with you is critical. Maybe he thought getting all the free press was more important than doing his job at the study session. Maybe he thinks his free media exposure will help his run for county commissioner, which he mentioned that he was going to pursue at a recent Adams Democratic meeting. 2 weeks ago, Councilman Johnston flatly denied that he was blocking community members from commenting on his government Facebook page. That was not a true statement. I think you might have a picture of a screenshot that I took yesterday. I have been blocked from commenting on his city council page since February 2018. I can share, but I can't comment. I've been blocked. Thanks to Wayne Wolford for reading that First Amendment, because my First Amendment freedom of speech has been blocked, and the Colorado ACLU has been made aware of this constitutional violation. I don't know why he's so afraid of me. I'm not a scary person, but I am smart, and I speak and write from a foundation of facts, and not from his foundation of misinformation and false allegation. So, all these different comments, let's put all these aside. Put aside our personal agendas, and let's all search for the facts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I think you lost a phone. Mike Boutwell. Michael Boutwell, and then the last person after me. I know it, you are. Mr. Boutwell, name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Michael Boutwell,
Watch
353
the
North
clock.
10th Avenue. This is the most people I've seen in this place in a year. Yay for you. I come in here and I sat in this place until about my car broke down. And I decided I was upset at the city because I couldn't get what I needed to get done. So I stopped coming down. But I come in here and I've sat and I've listened to you guys talk. And thank you again for letting me come up here and talk, all of you. I've talked to Mr. Johnston at length about things. I've talked to Mr. Blackhurst. I've talked to Mr. Mills. I've talked to Mr. Humbert too many times about the situation going on in this country. I've talked to Kurt Bauer at length for days about what's going on here. And he is on one side, Philip Rodriguez is on the other, okay? And I've heard from people in the whole gambit that Philip Rodriguez is a tough guy to deal with, okay? He came here and he had an iron hand and he fired Kurt, he fired Carl right off the bat. You know, and it was because they had disagreed with what he wanted to do. That was all there was to that. So they got fired. I look at Philip Rodriguez and I say, he helped me out one time, and I appreciate that. You know, I will not sign a recall for Mayor Kreutzer. I believe that everybody on this council, whether they have a personal agenda or not, Mr. Johnston, okay, or anybody else, that you are here as our servants. You are here to do our bidding and not your bidding. You know, and that's, you know, I don't care whether I talk too much or not. You and I have had that problem. But we are here to work together in this county and this city. And if we can't work together and have an open communication, then it's not fair to the people. But I don't know whether Philip should be fired or not. You know, I think that if he has good intentions and he knows that he's not trying to hide something, that he should have the word of whatever it takes to get it done. And a forensic analysis, I've looked at the bar graphs, I've looked at the percentages, I've looked at everything that goes along with this city. And I see that, and when I first came here, when I started this whole thing, almost 6 months ago or a year ago, or last year, and I came up here and I told you, I live alone, I pay $60 a month, and I use 900 gallons of water on the average. And my bill was too much. And I presented that to you, and I don't have any water loss, I don't have any leaks, I don't have anything else, I don't have a lot of water usage. I'm one of the green people in this town. And so I came to you and I said, this money is just too much. And so then all of this started. Okay, this whole thing about, I got told, well, we already run an investigation and all this other stuff, and I said, well, I haven't heard anything about it, you know? So I think that, you know, I appreciate y'all, you know? I think that we need to maintain. I think people need to come to this meeting. If they, I hate to see this because I come in here for days and months and nobody else shows up until something like this happens. You know, and I think it's a tragedy that the people can't get involved unless there's a really problematic situation up and
1 minute.
severely to change the lives of other people. And so if you want to change in this, it takes the people to change, it takes the council to change, it takes us all working together. I almost decided to run for city council, but I don't know if I could take the pressure you guys have to deal with. You know? And I just think that, you know, open transparency, no more secrets, who cares, get it over with, get it done with, and let's go on. Because I, for one, I'm doing my own research on the water in this state, you know, and I'm not done with it yet, but when I get done with it, I will publish it. And I'm doing a lot of things that other people don't do in this town, and that's just get involved. You know, we're not just here to be people, we're here to be involved in our whole community.
Time.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Our final speaker tonight, Kelly Nickel, excuse me. Kelly Nickel. Name and address for the record, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, my name is Kelly Nickel. I live at 32505 East 140th Way in Brighton, 80603. I'm here to speak on behalf of the things that are going on. I worked up in the finance department for the last year as a temp, and you have an amazing team on that finance department, an amazing team. I've seen those women come in on the weekends, come in at night from 7 at night until 11 with new babies at home. And over the past year, I've watched just such a nightmare in that department. I just want to say that I'm here to speak on behalf of them because I've heard so many things, and Philip Rodriguez, I don't know, everybody keeps saying what a wonderful man he is, and he's very kind, but I will tell you that, you know, he has a job offer in New Mexico, or he's one of 5, so I wouldn't feel too guilty about everybody being so upset about him getting fired, because he's looking elsewhere.